You're listening to 91.5 WUML Lowell Blues Deluxe, and it's my honor and pleasure to have Karen Lawrence on with me today. Hello,
Thank
Karen.
you, John. Hi, John. It's
How are
my honor
you?
and pleasure. I'm great. Thank you very much for
You-
having me.
You're welcome. It's like I said, we were before this interview, we were talking, and I've known about you as long as I've been doing this radio show. That's how long.
It's crazy.
And
Crazy.
I remember when we first got the records, the 1994 records that you were
Yeah.
on back in 78 and 79. I was
Yeah.
there when we got them,
Right on.
and
Right
we
on.
were
What, you
playing them.
never had an LA Jets record?
No, I was before me. I
Yeah.
started in 78.
Yeah.
And
That's all
but yeah, I want to listen. I haven't heard the LA Jets record. I want to listen to that.
right. It's all right.
Plus Blue by Nature was also what, 20 years later, 18,
Yeah.
19 years later. And look,
90s. Yeah.
not yeah, we were playing all three of those records when they came out.
Right on. Right on. Cool.
So let's start off with, how did you get started in this business?
I got asked to be in a band. I was playing guitar in a music store and trying to learn Tambourine Man, Mr. Tambourine Man.
Bob
And
Dylan, yep.
this was probably September, my first year in high school. Music store was right up the street. Anyway, yeah. So I'm in there. No, not the. I don't. Is it Bob Dylan that wrote it? It's "Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me." It does sound like Bob Dylan.
It is
Doesn't
Bob Dylan.
it? It is. Wow.
Yeah.
You. That's crazy. It does sound like it. At least when I do it, it does.
Yep.
Anyway, started playing that, trying to learn it without buying the sheet music. And a guy came up and said, "Hey, you want to be in our band?" And my parents drove me to rehearsal that night. So all through high school, I was in a band. And shortening the story, because it goes on and on, I got recruited out of that band in, I don't know, 74, 75. And then that band went on to be we got signed. These were more veteran musicians. They had actually been signed before. This was John Desatel and Harlan McNeese. And who I just saw a couple of years ago. And John Desatel's sister, Christine Desatel, and Harlan were the ones that came and recruited me. That's what I mean. They came to our little funky club in an industrial district and asked me if I wanted to consider this thing. So anyway, they had been signed before, and to a label. And that was pretty far out kind of concept to me at the time. But I was a musician when I was young. I mean, kind of musical family, and rather musical family, my mom and my dad. And I used to do shows. I was a ventriloquist when I was a kid. So I was already doing shows when I was like in 5th grade.
Do you still do that, ventriloquist?
I can, but you know what? You won't believe it, but both my little characters are kind of broken. One's just sitting up there for posterity, but I had a custom puppet made. In fact, God, I almost remembered his name. He did the Small World, some of the Small World at Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff. He did some of that work. I think he's passed on now, but anyway, he made me a puppet or whatever in the late 80s. And I used to do it in a band I was in, a Russian band.
Wow.
We did a gypsy show, and I dressed him up like a gypsy. And yeah, so I did it for a while, but he kind of broke also. Used to be embarrassing. I quit when I was about 12 or 13, let's say. 12, 7th grade. Yeah, because it became embarrassing,
Yep.
in the hippie movement and all that, it just didn't seem to be.
So this
cool.
is LA, right? You were out in LA?
Yeah, LA, in a suburb, the Disneyland area. That's Fullerton. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Then LA, I got recruited and we lived up in LA, yeah. Up in the hills, cheap seats, Sunland, Tahunga.
So LA Jets was 76. How old were you when that record came out?
75, I was 20.
So
Oh, why
21.
are you asking me such? It's common
21.
knowledge. I
21.
don't hide it. It's common knowledge.
I don't hide it either.
Yeah, by the time it came out, yeah, but you're not a goyle.
No.
But by the time it came out, yeah, I was signed at 20. So yeah, we started recording in 75, and then the record came out in 76, the first record. Yeah. Then we went into the studio to do a second one. Can I tell you this part?
Yeah.
So we went to do a second one, and they shipped us up to Bearsville, out near Woodstock, upper New York. We were kind of based out of New York at this time. Obviously, we're going to Bearsville. So, you got to do something with the band. You got to send them somewhere. They got to be housed somewhere. They don't make any money. They can't pay any rent. So, well, anyway, so we go up there. We start making a record. That's when, kind of getting in this like name dropping thing. That's when John and I wrote "Prisoner," which later was in the movie Barbra Streisand sang, and Joe Bonamassa did on Dust Bowl, and I think it's coming out on his Live at the Hollywood Bowl. I think so. Anyway, so and we did, I think it was January 77, we did the Don Kirshner show. And went out to LA to do that, and we did "Prisoner" in that, and the other tunes we had, but we got dropped. We got dropped before the album was released. Whatever. But money was not being handled by us. Money was being handled by other people, and we kind of got called on the carpet for it. Me and John and Christine got called on the carpet by RCA for it. We're like, what? What do you mean money? I have no idea. If I had money, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd be on a beach somewhere, Well, maybe not. But anyway.
So the next year, this is when I started knowing about you.
Right.
1978. You were in a band called 1994. Who came up with that moniker for a band name?
Jack Douglas. Jack Douglas. Yeah. On an airplane. He was reading 1984. Came up with this clever name. I'm not good at names.
So Jack Douglas produced those two records?
Yes, he did. Yeah, John and I, Christine carted us up to Record Plant. I used to go in for auditions to the executives, and I take my guitar in there and sing right in their face. Ahmed Erdogan, right in his office, right in his face, sing our little tunes that we had developed, and so did the same thing for Jack right there in Studio B, I guess, Record Plant, New York. And he took us up, and because he's validating us, that's how we got signed to A&M.
Rumor has it Brad Whitford played on the first album, right?
Yeah, he did. Well, Jack knew all the guys, right?
Yeah. So you knew you knew the guys from Aerosmith as well.
Yes,
I take it.
Yes. I can't say real palsy wowsy, but yes, they were. I went on stage with Steven a couple of times to do the little song on their Draw the Line album. Can't get it up, gotta get it up, get it up, get it up, get it.
That's great.
And so I mean, and we toured with them. So
you opened for them on
we
that
opened
tour.
for them. I think it was like a month during a summer tour, and then we went on and opened for Cheap Trick. Yeah, it's definitely
That was the Draw the Line tour, right?
No, I don't think so. No, that was 78, so it would have been Rocks, and it was. That's when I first. Well, I don't know, but when I first heard Aerosmith, it was Rocks. And our band, well, John and I we still had a little band together from the LA Jets. We were in Colorado at Caribou Ranch, and which I think doesn't exist anymore. But that's where we went to make demos. And how did that happen? Did Jack come out there? I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe Jack came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had heard Jack's work and Aerosmith on Rocks. I love that album. That's a good one.
So what happened in 1994? You did two records, and then what happened?
We got dropped.
The label dropped you, huh?
Too much money. You know, in we were doing very well with the first album. You know, everything was going great. Um, you know, we did a lot of tours. I think we actually bumped up to like headline, you know, not 10,000 people, but in a theater, you know, like what would that be? 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Something like that, 500,000 people. So we started headlining a little bit. Then summer's over, so you go in to make your next album, you know. And we went to LA to make the album, and Jack gave it off. Jack remained the executive producer, but Eddie Leonetti, one of his, used to be in a band with him in school, Eddie Leonetti, whom I love, he was the producer. So we go to LA, we make the record, but it went on and on and on and on and on. It got all tangled up. You know, people would come, A&R would come in and go, oh, we don't like the hi-hat in that song. We don't like, you know, micro airs, too many chiefs, too much fun. I was having a lot of fun. I don't know. I think we were in the studio like 6 or 9 months. We were in there a long time, long enough for me to completely lose my voice. And anyway, so that was also the transition between, you know, things were, Devo came out while we were in the studio.
Yep.
Doing you know, melodic rock album. And we were changing. So I think things kind of went everywhere on that album. My favorites off that album are the rock songs, like I think Keep Raving On, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But anyway, Wait for Me, was that a song? Wait. Yep. I don't know. Wait for Me. Oh, okay. Anyway, those are some of my favorites. But then the record company, to tell you the truth, they asked me to go solo. And I would have, well, pretty sure it was David Kirschenbaum would be the producer. And basically, it's kind of not my jam. You know, if they asked me that now, I'd say, see you guys. I would do it, but I would know how to handle myself and how to have, you know, more, not say control, but more control over the vision. And I'd be able to handle it a little better. At that time, I'm sure I would have just been like putty in his hand. I'd have been doing a bunch of other people's tunes. I still came from the FM rock era, you know, and that just was not cool to me. Pop was not a thing for me. And I didn't really want to do that. You know, they wanted me to do the Benatar kind of thing. And I just didn't feel it. I didn't feel it, you know. So I said, no, I'm loyal to the band, to the bone. And they dropped us.
Well, you were on A&M with 1994.
Yeah.
And then LA Jets was RCA, which is surprising. After you left A&M, you went back to RCA.
Yeah, well, you know, girl's got to do what she's got to do. But they were different circumstances and different people, you know, by that time, you know, the 80s, 1980 or so. It seemed like eons, really does, between those two times.
So were you a solo artist in 80, 81 when that record came out? Or
right. Mm-hmm.
You were? Mm-hmm. Not with your own band. You had your own band, basically.
I had my own band, yeah. And Fred Hostetler, right? He and I were teamed up. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
And that continued until Blue by Nature.
Well, after we did the New Wave experiment, which, by the way, was created not only because we went back to New York and I saw the true scene that was happening. I felt like I'd been in a cave, you know, somewhere, not seeing, hearing anything. I chopped off all my hair. I got rid of all my high-heeled boots. You know, I bought some Converse. You know, I mean, I just changed, really. And my tastes changed, and they were changing anyway. But after that, I lost my voice after that second 1990. I had to quit. I go like this because I had to put tape on my mouth for like a month. I couldn't sing. So when I came back to writing songs And literally, I would be writing songs with the tape hanging off my face here, and I
Wow.
had to just kind of talk, sort of talk. So kind of got into this little Marlene Dietrich kind of thing, and I guess there was a German artist doing that, Nina Hagen,
Yep.
right? Remember Nina Hagen?
I remember her.
I'm already into my thing, and I find out, oh, Nina Hagen's doing almost the same thing. Oh man. Anyway, whatever. So I was doing that, and then so I just wanted to fill in this one thing.
Yep.
After that new wave thing, I went back out to California in the like 1982, and got cold, just terribly cold in New York. Cold, no record deal, cold. Literally, my feet were cold. I was freezing. I'm not kidding, we pushed our amp up the street from 28th Street to 49th Street or wherever record plant was. Literally, no cabs would pick you up when you got amps and stuff. So in the snow, wet, nasty New York gutter snow, we had to push our amp up the street. Oh, it was pretty miserable. Anyway, other people are miserable too, so I'm not going to, bitch about it too much. But anyway, so after that, we had an offer to go to LA, went to LA, joined up with some 1994 guys, did this and that. I did a showcase. I did this and that, created another band. Would have been a solo project. I did a gig at the Whiskey, a showcase at the Whiskey. Had a great band. John Goodsell was in the band. You know who he is?
I know
John
who he is.
Goodsell, the guitarist. I can't think, what was it? He's in a famous band. Anyway, fantastic drummer too, Gordon Gale. Oh my God. We did our demos at Record Plant. And anyway, after that, I ended up doing an album for an English label, Revolver. And that album's called Rip and Tear. That album has not been reissued. I'm going to poke some bears and see if I can get, I think Rock Candy did the 1994 reissues. They're on CD.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to poke them and see if I can get them to do
Rip and Tear.
Rip and Tear. Yeah, it's got some good stuff. It really does. Some very good tunes on there. Then we went, then whatever. Then I lost my voice again, went into this Russian band, and out of it just said, you know what? I am tired of trying to keep up with the next thing. I am tired of I'm tired of trying all this, been years and years then. How many years was that? Only 10 years? Well, it was an eternity. And in the 90s, Fred and I went to Paris just for vacation. And we went to see, for a little nightlife, for fun, we went to see a Parisian blues club. And we went to see a Parisian blues, really? Let's go check it out. And they were from, the band was from Elkhart, Indiana.
There you
And
go.
Fred is from Goshen. It's like the next town. It's so funny. Anyway, so I sang this blues song, the only blues song I know, which happened to be a favorite Otis Rush song of mine. And I sang that song, and Fred looks at me after we got back to the hotel, and he goes,
We can do this.
you're good at this. And I thought, well, you don't know that? After all these years, this is where I started, in blues bands. And, that was a blues band I was in high school. So anyway, and the rest is his
Blue by Nature became,
Blue by Nature. Yeah.
and 3 records at that.
Yeah. Right. Well, a lot of tunes. I write a lot of tunes. A reviewer, wonderful review. Oh my gosh, I love this. The very first review I've had on this record. Anyway, but he said that I take my time to write songs because I didn't release a lot of things, but that's not true. I have a ton of songs. It's just, you got to pick. You can't do 160 songs in the studio. So you pick a couple that you think this band could do for free or pull off in this situation. And you pick your little tunes. So that's why it took me so long. Plus I retired. I really did. I got tired. I got tired. We lost, we lost one of our guitar players in Blue by Nature. We, changed lead guitar players two other times after Rick Dufay. And anyway, and that was hard,
Talking about Aerosmith, Rick Dufay was in the band for one album.
Yeah, yeah.
So it all goes back to Aerosmith and you, huh? All the guys in
Yeah, I
Aerosmith.
know. Right? Everything is Aerosmith with you. Yeah. Isn't that
But
fun?
yeah, when I saw Rick Dufay's name, I'm going, oh, he's the guy that replaced
Who was
Joe
it?
Perry.
Joey. Joe,
Yeah.
yeah. Joe,
Yep.
yeah.
So tell
Yeah,
me
Rick
about
was
Jeff
great.
Beck. You work with Jeff Beck a little bit too.
Okay, in the middle of the night, we get a call. When I say we at these times, till about 2000, it would be Fred and I. We're an item. We're partners in crime. We're married. We get a call, middle of the night. Absolutely typical. I always get the call in the middle of the night. Hey, come down and do a vocal. Mark Farner. I go down to do a vocal with Mark Farner. That was great. So I get these calls in the middle of the night, and they just know that I can't say no. So, of course, I'm in a cab or whatever on my way to the studio. So Fred and I got a call, middle of the night, said, Jeff Beck has an instrumental. His manager doesn't want him to have an instrumental on this record. So would you write and then sing the next day the song? Like, give me a minute to think about it. We were in the car driving to Record Plant. This is in LA. And picked up a recording of it, probably a cassette in those days. And so we just wrote and wrote and wrote all night long. I think we cracked the nut, got the idea. He had the title, Back in the Street. And so that's one of those situations that, I loathe, really, to tell you the truth. I can do it.
Everything's last minute.
The one where they have a title, or they have, in this case, an entire song. So I have to take my thing and fit it in there.
Yep.
It's not my favorite thing. I did it for years with bands that I was in. Guitar players got the whole song. Oh my God, you're kidding me.
A little more pressure when it's Jeff Beck, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that one. And I love Jeff Beck, from way back in the day too, right? Yep. And so this was, of course, it's a great honor, but I'm just completely focused on trying to get this good. Anyway, we get back there in the afternoon the next day, or the evening, whatever it was. He was there. I give him a couple smart aleck things to try to make myself feel relaxed. Some smart alecky things about the way he picks his guitar. I mean, the stuff that comes out of my mouth sometimes, I just, anyway, I try not to remember. And then I went in and did the vocal. Yeah.
And there you go.
It wasn't like we were sitting down writing, hey, what do you think of this? Hey, Jeff, let me throw this one at you. Basically we wrote it, and I went in and sang it, and he was there, and they liked it. And that's how it happened. And it's not even on the American album, and I just found this out.
You're kidding me.
I'm so disgusted. It's on the Japanese album. It's on the back of People Get Ready. Look at my little paper thing.
The B-side of People Get Ready, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the new record that you have, the latest one. The Blues is Back.
My dog is here. Yes. Sorry, you go lay down. Go lay down, Gracie.
Is the Blues back?
The Blues is back.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be me. A blue wind just blew in. Yeah.
So how did that come about after all the time you were off? You decided it was too much, and then you came back?
Yeah, it is weird because I never said I retired, but after some of the turmoil of the and just come on, it was just burnout. I mean, I burned out. We played a lot. I love Blue by Nature. We had some of the most heart exploding, mind exploding, creative, on the spot, exploding stuff happen on stage, even if there was nobody in the little audience. And we were all so creative. Me and Rick and the drummer Dan Petrucci and Charlie Diaz, Fred Hosteller. They were ripping me off. I'd be singing some riff. Rick steals it. Fred be playing some second guitar part. Rick steals it. We had such great times. I remember after one of the tunes, and I really am getting to your topic. After one of the tunes, I went back and leaned my hand up against the wall, and I was just going like that. It was like an explosion. We did it like every night. And I wrote new songs constantly, and I'd go on stage and I go, okay, you ready for this one? No, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, we're going to do it. Ready? A minor. Okay, 1, 4, 5. Watch for the bridge. I'll call it. This is my bridge. I call it. If they don't know where to go, I call it 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. 3 turnarounds. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4, 5, 1.
And they got it, right?
They knew my stuff, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, that was a solid core for 4 years. That's the longest I've ever been, except for high school, but that's nothing like this. Anyway, so that was fantastic. And when it ended and we kind of had to reteach a couple other guitar players, that never happened again. And so it was kind of sad for me and empty, frankly, very empty. And I in my mind, I'm just telling myself, yeah, well, you had that. You'll never have that again.
The band had a connection with you.
It was worse than that. It was better than that.
Yeah.
It was absolute creative freedom for me. And everything I did was accepted by the band, emboldened, empowered, embellished, and the audience loved it. They loved it. All original stuff. You know, we didn't have to do Mustang Sally. You know, we didn't do cover tunes.
You had your own. You had all your own. You could do
all our own stuff, and we could go 5 hours. Right now, I could probably play 8 hours just by myself. Play my guitar. No solos. But anyway, so that was great. Some of the great times. I wrote one of the songs on the live album, Live at the Lake, Blue by Nature, is Fun and Games. It's also a video with a different guitar player, Tommy Moody. Rest in peace, Tommy Moody. Big loss. And I actually love the live version better. But I mean the video version better. But when I wrote that song, I was super focused on it all day. In fact, I was at Griffith Park, and I'm just sitting there writing the song and like crying and writing the song, and just so intense. And finally I go, oh God, I'm hungry. And I went to this nearby like McDonald's to get a salad and French fries. And the girl, I'm still in it. I'm still like, just completely still in the feel. And the girl said, "Are you okay?" It was so funny. I probably looked at her like this, like with a dopey expression, right?
Yep.
Like, no, just hurry up, Jimmy. Just give me my stuff. Don't bug me. Don't get in my thing here. Anyway, but I'm digging that song, right? I got to hear that song that night. And that song is not easy. That's not 1-4-5. The whole arrangement was here. And so I showed Rick Dufay in the parking lot. And I think when we first did that song, it was early in our little career. And maybe we were playing at a Mexican restaurant on a stage about this high, So it kind of didn't matter. I throw out a tune. If it's a train wreck, who cares? The bartender that just wants us to go home anyway. So who cares? Anyway, but of course it does. You do care, you don't want to stand up there and you're just like, oh God, what's going on? So I showed Rick the song in the parking lot, and he goes, yeah, that's a good tune, right? Of course it is, right? Get into the place. Get into there. And I go, Rick, let's do it. He goes, no. Talking, like under his breath. No, don't you dare. Yeah, come on, right. F. Okay. It's in C. Ready? We got C, B flat, F. Okay, I just called it
So you
right
used to
on
do that. You used to
stage.
do that all the time, right?
I did it all. I did it every night.
To make those
And
guys just do it.
well, yeah, because I always want to hear that song that I wrote that day.
Yep.
And one of my favorite things is one of our really good songs is I mean really good guitar parts too. What is it? Been so long. You know, doon jet do jet and down do bang down do right. I wrote that at lunch. I was working temp. I wrote it at lunch during my half-hour lunch. And that day, we're doing another one of those early gigs. We only had like 20 minutes of songs. We needed tunes. So we got to do this tune. A minor, D minor, A minor, D minor, right? So
You know how scary that is for a musician to
I
just
do
have.
because I am one. Yes, I do. Thank you very much. But you know what? Look, I'm pretty good at it. I am. I play with the radio and stuff. I'm pretty good at it. And they are too. But no matter what, I wouldn't do it if it was important gig. You know, there's nobody there. You're on a little stage like this, or
But you
maybe
never know what you're going to get when you do that with them because it could be a fantastic piece.
here's
Yeah.
that's exactly the end of my story. That was a train wreck, and they were like cursing me, God, bitch, really, just cursing me. They didn't call me bitch, but they're going, damn it, and we're struggling even just to okay end it. How are you going to do that, right? And we just got through that, and that turned into, we're trying to end it fast, right? That song turned into like a 20-minute epic a year later. An epic.
There you
just
go.
no ending, just solo. It goes here, it goes there. I come in with a bridge again. I go into the thing. We go into a rhythm thing. Pull out the cowbell. You know, it just turned into this. It's on the live album, and it was edited there. And then Fred edited it again for the Best Alive. Edited it again, the solo. Anyway, turned into a great album. Anyway, okay, so done with that. What was your question? No,
The
wait,
new
where was I going?
the new record.
Why did
Tell
it
me.
take so long? So why did it take so long?
Right.
That's why it took so long, because I did kind of quit. I said, you know what? I'm so tired. I sang the Star Spangled Banner at Celebrity Grand Prix. And guess what? Nobody wanted to do it. Cher didn't want to do it. Some other big singer didn't want to do it. A cappella, right? Well, I've sung the Star Spangled Banner 4 different parts, all the way from tenor, alto, soprano, second soprano, all my life. So I know the song. So sure, I'll do it. What the hell? Heck. So I go and do that. And I get taken there in a limo and everything. And it wasn't broadcast. Such a bummer. So now I'm really fed up, right? Oh, I'm just so fed up. And the band was over. Fred and I had split, gone far different ways. Fred went to India. I went to Santa Monica. And
That's right. He mentioned India. I forgot about that.
Fred went to India for like 18 years.
Yeah.
I retired and remarried for 18 years, and I just became an audience. That day after that Star Spangled Banner thing, Celebrity Grand Prix thing, I got on my little $50 bike with my 50-cent shorts and my Hanes t-shirt and no makeup and a bathing suit. And I said, I'm in Santa Monica. I don't need any of that anymore. I'm going to the beach. And I went to the beach, and there was a band playing at this little club there. I love that beach there. These little clubs are just so cute. And I have seen people at those clubs when I was doing errands. You know, they're getting drunk. It's 2 p.m. They're laughing and carrying on outside and flirting, and I'm just on a task, like maybe going by. And I think Fred used to wear Chinese shoes, and I'd get him on the boardwalk in Venice. So I'd be down there and going, God, look at those people. They are having so much fun. And I got to play tonight. I got to be spot on. You know, I got to start at 9:30 and go all night. So there's no way I can play like that. I can't do that. So that's a discipline, right? So funny, I go to this club, and it was a band called the Mama's Boys, and I knew who they were, a blues band. And Johnny Maestro I got it almost right. I call him Maestro, Mastro, harmonica player. Anyway, they knew who I was. I went to go see them, and I'm like, oh my God, here I am. I'm gonna have me a beer, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and so it started my career as audience,
Wow.
and I just kind of enjoyed it. No discipline, you know, just having fun. I could go screw around and drink beer in the middle of the afternoon. Wow, what a concept.
So what made
Eat
you
food.
what made you decide to come back?
Okay, so I moved to my husband and I after he's a contractor, after the crunch, the economy crunch in 2008, we moved from Venice Beach to South Dakota, where we had bought a house and we had like 9 acres, and his family's from there. The family used to get together for the July his whole life. And all 28 years. No, just kidding. He's not 28. I'm just kidding. But so we used to go there, and oh man, I loved it. And so we retreated. We just got out of Venice Beach selling our house and making our profit. I mean, we were lucky to get out of there, and all the work had dried up. Nobody could get a loan, whatever. So it was pretty rough. So we moved back to South Dakota, and I lived in a town of 2,000 people, 3,000 people, and on 9 acres on the water, on a lake, on a canal. And, we fixed up this farmhouse, which I've always loved farmhouses when I'd see them on tour, or when I would drive across country, which I've done many times. I love to drive. And I would just kind of like face against the window, like, ooh, look at that. So in here now, I have one. And it was fun meeting, hanging in a small town, enjoying that. I'd never lived in a small town. So I embraced it for about 10 years. Anyway, after that, we moved to South Texas, where I am now. And I had started doing research like live music. South Dakota, that's an agricultural mecca or whatever, culture. And so before we were moving here, well, we were looking at places and everything. I'm looking up music, live music. I got to go see some music, or where can I go sit in? I'm just a total performing seal. I just go sing so many roads everywhere. Karaoke, oh, you guys want to see me sing? Okay. I go sit in, do so many roads, and it's the only song I do. Just blow them all away. Sunday Rise. Oh wow. So I came down here and I started doing that. I found a blues club over in Port A. I went in there. Anyway, I met this guitar player. I heard this guitar player playing while I was getting my beer. And that was Tony Saracine, who I'm working with now. And I just thought he was so unusual and so unique and so good. So we chatted, and actually I sat in while he was playing in that band. And in fact, I did so many roads, and I did one of the songs off of this album called I'm Coming Home. I just tell him, it's like Sweet Home Chicago, in-E, okay, Sweet Home Chicago. And that was the first time I ever sang that lyric. And I was like, okay, you're going to do it, right? Here you go. Do it. Anyway, that was fun for me. Of course, I have to, walk on an edge, but anyway, it was a good song. And so he does a jam on Tuesday, and I was singing in this little hullabaloo thing across the street, and just kind of taking my guitar up and singing some songs at this little theater called the Rialto. And everybody started digging it. We're playing a little more. I'm out there a little more.
You're back.
Well, and people were responding, and I was doing it more frequently. And people say, "Are you making a record?" and stuff. I go, "Oh, no. Been there, done that, right?"
Did they know your history? Did any of those people know your history?
Nah, because I don't tell it. Sometimes I'll turn my phone around and show a picture of me singing at the whiskey, going, something like, like that. Yeah, that's me. And they always say, is that you? Hey, see this poster? See this
Yep.
big poster? Like, you can't believe how many people walk in my music room. This is my music room. And I had to have a place to hang all these pictures. What am I going to do with them? So they're in this music room. My shrine to moi. And like, you can't believe how many people walk in and see that poster and go, is that you? It's like, yeah. Can't you tell?
That was a long time ago, that picture.
Yeah, that was Rip and Tear. That was for Rip and
Yep.
Tear. Anyway, so the other thing was, it wasn't just, it was, I'm really not flattered by people liking what I do. Honestly, I don't, in Blue by Nature, I never cared whether people liked it or not. I was happy that they did. It didn't matter to me, honest. And I mean it. I mean it. We were lucky enough that the tunes I was writing, I mean, they're blues tunes, R&B, blues, blah, blah, blah. What's not to like? Right? I just never wrote for anybody. And so when people would come up and, compliment me, it's like, oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, sure, of course. What's not to love, right? What's not, of course, they're good, right? But it became, in working with these other guys that were not the hullabaloo people, but the real musicians, Tony Saracen and the other musicians that would be jamming on these Tuesday nights, it was like, oh my God, yeah, this is my language. This is years of speaking this language. Yep. And I just kind of got like, oh my God, okay, well, how about let's do a record. Oh, I know what it was. It was the song Takeaway. I wrote Takeaway, and every time I write a song, I take it to that little jam, right? And we do it, of course. And Tony really liked that one. So I was home one night drinking beer, and like midnight, literally, I just told this story. I got to quit repeating myself on stories, but I still like it. That I was outside listening to that song as loud as I could, just so I could hear it outside. This was before I had a Bluetooth speaker. And I was standing out there like drinking, howling at the moon, like, this song is good. My own recording. I did my own. I can do my little 16 track here. And I'm listening to it. I'm going, oh man, this is good. I love this tune. Yeah, getting all into it. And I'm going, Tony. I called him up. I said, Tony, we're going to make this record. We're going to make this record, man. Anyway, he's like, okay. And that's how we started working together.
You made it.
And he's so easy to work with. It's crazy. It's crazy. And he did all the instruments on True Love, by the way.
Good.
All of it. And can I tell you that story?
Yeah.
So True Love, Fred and I wrote a lyric, True Love. Okay, so a long time ago, Fred and I had a lyric. We had a little, almost a folk song. It was tuned down into D, and it was a song, and it was good. Good lyric, I like it, but it was very folky, bluesy kind of thing. And then after Fred and I split, I did a little showcase at the Whiskey. I had some background singers, and I rewrote True Love. Okay, so I wrote it with this riff that I had found on a cassette that I wrote in the 70s. And I went and I was looking through my cassettes. And I went, oh, whoa, look at this. It actually had, what's that canyon? The place in Colorado? Caribou Ranch. It was a Caribou Ranch cover. I went, oh yeah, that riff. I was always good. So I wrote a whole tune based on that riff. And so I wrote a tune on that riff, and I took the lyric True Love, which now this will be my third writing of it, and I laid it over this riff. And so that was one of my favorite tunes, right? In the bottom string is a D, and it's just, I love it the way it is, right? It's kind of folky, a pretty little thing. And one time I was visiting in South Dakota, and Tony sent me a text, said, check your email. I did True Love. And I'm like, what? You didn't? Oh no. I was thinking, oh my God, how am I going to say, dude, I just do not mess with my stuff. Okay. I didn't ask you to do it. I'm sorry. I don't like it. Throw it away and don't ever call me again. I really didn't know what to expect, but I was feeling like, oh no, he wrecked. He messed up. He messed with my song. So finally I had it up there. I think it was Thanksgiving, and I had my laptop set up and I had the song ready to go, whatever that media thing is. And finally I'm walking around in little circles going, okay, let's hear it, and I will play. And it was so bitching. It's like, oh my God, I started singing with it right away. I'm like, oh my Lord, I love this. I love it. And that's how he ended up with that song. He did it all on his own.
See that?
Please don't do that again. No, it was great. No, he's very talented.
That's good.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I remember when we were mixing it, he didn't have enough of the bottom guitars. I said, what happened to all those mid-range fat guitars? Bring those up. Bring them up.
Yeah.
Sink me down in there. Yeah, I loved it.
So tell me what's the most important thing that's ever happened in your career or for you in your career?
To be really logical about it, because there are so many things I've gotten to do, like play for 10,000 people. Aerosmith, Cheap Trick opening for those guys. I'm playing for 20,000 people, and I'm 21 years old. My first concert that we LA Jets opened for the Stars Born, there was over 100,000 people in that audience. My first concert, 7:30 in the morning. And just ballsing it through. No thought to nerves. I was just so used to performing. Anyway, but in all logic, I think that the Prisoner got picked up and sung by Barbra Streisand and put in the movie Eyes of Laura Mars.
There you go.
Probably, there are a lot of things where people like maybe discover you, or like I say, they recruited me.
That put you on the map. That put you on the map.
That keeps me
on the map.
It keeps my foot from getting slammed in the door. And honestly, I'm not kidding. I could say as an introduction, and Barbra Streisand did my song. They go, huh? And now, Joe Bonamassa has done it. And have you heard his version?
No.
Oh my God, really? Oh my gosh, you got to hear it. It's fantastic. In fact, LA Jets had a version, my version, and we did it on Don Kirshner. It's there. I know how that goes. But I kind of dismissed the song after Streisand, I've met her a couple of times. She's very gracious, and it's huge. You can't get somebody much bigger than that, unless to do one of your tunes. That's very big time. But it was done a little more poppy than my interpretation, and so and there was a lot of pain that went with it. I'm not going to go all into that, but and so I kind of just didn't want to hear about it. And then I heard that Joe Bonamassa did it, and I actually heard him doing it on the radio one night in the middle of the solo. And I think I was just hitting the store or something right up the street from my house, and I heard this solo. Whoa, what is this? This is great. I turn up the Sirius radio, Bluesville, and I turn it up and I'm listening. Wow. And then it's Prisoner. And he sings it kind of like, is it Paul Rogers in Bad Company?
Yeah.
Right? He sings it kind of like that. And he completely took me out of the old way, the old version, and made me, and I had quit doing it. I had to relearn it. I've relearned it now. I had to relearn it a couple of years ago. Got together with LA Jets guys. They wanted me to do that song. So I had to learn the piano part and all that stuff. Anyway, but Joe Bonamassa's version on Dust Bowl took me out of my original idea and Barbra Streisand's cover and made me see it and hear it
in a different light. You started,
and open up the way I approach the vocal.
Right.
And I think it's going to be on his Live at the Hollywood Bowl album, because
which is coming out. It's coming out next
July.
month.
I know. Yep. I pre-order bought it, and I did because I wanted to go on Amazon to find out what songs are on it, because a friend of mine from that reunion a couple years ago texted me at 3 a.m. one night and said, "Oh man, Joe Bonamassa is doing Prisoner and he's ripping it." And that was the night before the Hollywood Bowl gig.
There you
So,
go.
and my friend got the set list from that night, and there it was. Like, oh my gosh, I wonder if he's going to do it on the bowl. Now, I really can't say that it's absolutely going to be there, but boy, that'd be awesome. And he has an orchestra.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to hear that, man. And
So
I want everybody to know. I want him to know, if he ever hears anything, that, or if anybody knows him, I'm really good at walk-ons. I'll come on stage and rip that thing for you, man. We'll do a duo. We can do it as a duo. It'd be great.
And I bet you he'd do it too. He'd have you come on and sing
That's
it.
pretty good. I think he would. Why not?
So how do
Be
people
something.
find out about you?
Say what?
How do people find out about you and your music?
Oh, well, I got Doug Deutsch, publicist, working now, and I guess you can go and the album is sold on all the popular platforms, Amazon and whatever other people buy stuff on. I am just starting a website. I mean, I'm kind of new to this, especially as a total solo. Like I probably should have had a website already. But we've got one started.
Media? How about social media, like Facebook?
There's a Facebook page.
Yeah,
you can find me. You'll recognize me. I'm the American singer songwriter, not the one that does the bar mitzvahs. But you'll see my jaunty image on there, and jaunty. Wow. Anyway,
Karen Lawrence,
Facebook,
right? Just look
Karen Lawrence, and the website is KarenLawrenceMusic.com, and that'll be getting to going pretty quick here. And I'll be selling the records. I'll be selling the CD if you want them signed. I'll be selling the Blue by Nature stuff. I also have 1994 reissues, and I have my Girls Night Out reissue. So I will be selling almost every record I did.
That's good.
Right? So that's because nowadays nobody sells it. CD Baby used to be the way to buy it.
Yeah.
But CD Baby, I guess, is only streaming now. I don't even know how Amazon is going to get CDs if people want a physical CD. Or most people don't. I have them. They say, "Oh, I'll go buy myself a CD player." I'm like, wow. Okay. I still have one in my car, and I always will. Thank you very much. I do all my work in my car.
There you go.
Screening of my, working songs. Anyway, yeah, and you can go to Karen Lawrence here, KarenLawrence.herenow.com, and that shows you all the platforms that it's available on.
All right.
Yep, and I'm starting to work on something else now too.
That's good. That's good.
Of course.
You got it. You can't stop now, can you?
No, I got so many tunes. It's kind of crazy.
Why not?
Quit. Well, yeah. I know why. You have to. I mean, I can't just stop. It's just you write.
No quitting. Keep doing it if you have all those songs.
Yeah, I mean, I have to tape my mouth shut to stop talking. You can imagine.
Well, you never know.
Stop thinking.
You never know who's going to take one of your songs and make them big.
Yes, and wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun? Oh man, having a song in a movie was great. I'd like to do that again. I mean, if somebody would pick one up. Fred and I had a couple of tunes off of Rip and Tear in a surf movie, and I still think that's cool. Wave Warriors 2 or something like that. It's pretty cool.
That's good.
But anyway, extremely hard to find. Hey, you can't stop. I've still written all these years. That's why I have so many tunes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you for taking some time out. We've been on for almost an hour. How do you like that?
Oh, I'm letting you off easy. Shortened all those stories.
That's good.
I thank you, man. And I like that shirt.
Yeah, that's one of the originals. Do you have those
in? Do you still make those?
Yeah, I have them.
Do you have it like in a medium?
I may have a medium.
Like men's sizes, right? Not girl sizes.
Men's sizes.
Like in a men's size medium.
Oh. I might. I can send you one.
I like it. I absolutely love that. I love the guitars. I love blues shows. That's the only kind of like I'll wear guitar show things if I gone to the Dallas guitar show. I like those. The
Email
only
me your
shirts I wear
email
that
me
say something.
email me your address and I'll
I
send you
will.
one.
I will. I'd love it. And
All
if you
right.
only have large, that's okay. I sew, so
Okay.
I know how to make that thing
All right.
custom, baby.
There you
Yeah, make it
go.
fit my hourglass figure.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate it. Hey,
It's,
everybody, go get that record.
you got it. Go
Thank
get
you.
it.
All
And I'm going to
right.
be playing it right after the interview.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.